up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This is Michael's Life Cycle. Today I'm going to be going over 10 pros and 10 cons of living in the city of Detroit, Michigan. I guess just to like preface the video, I was considering actually over the last month moving out of this city for a multitude of reasons, mostly just looking for a new job opportunity and new jobs where I can advance. So I was looking to move out of the city, and I ended up seeing other videos on YouTube similar to this one, and they actually gave me a lot of value. It's sort of the pro and cons of moving to certain places, so I kind of wanted to make a similar video about living in Detroit. I've lived here for most of my life since I was a kid, so I know a lot about the city. I'm going to try to be totally upfront and honest in this video. Sorry if I offend anyone. If you feel offended and you want to bash me, feel free to leave a comment. Please be nice, but I don't really care if you don't, because any comment helps the video. Please feel free to leave a like for sure if I help you with these, just like I've been helped in other videos. So another preface to the video, I'm not a real estate expert or anything. If you're looking for any real estate advice, obviously go talk to a realtor. But one thing I'd suggest is like the best thing you can do is get advice about a living situation from someone that isn't a realtor. Because usually realtors try to hype it up and really just want you to buy the property that they're selling so they can take a percentage. I do make a lot of generalizations in this video, so obviously they're not 100% correct for everyone. Please don't bash me in the comments if you disagree with anything. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any criticism on what I say. So yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna start with the 10 pros of living in Detroit. So pro number 1 is the people. And a lot of people don't know this about Detroit, but the people that live here are actually really humble, and they're really artistic people. So they get along with all different types of people coming through. It's sort of an international city, and I say that because it is Detroit and it's right along the border of Canada, but there isn't too many people here. The city's super diverse, so if you're Hispanic, Asian, black, white, you name it, you fit in this city, which I like that a lot about the city. Everyone here has a pretty solid attitude. No one, you walk down the street and chances are, half of them are gonna say hi to you walking down the street. I've lived here most of my life, so going to other cities, like when I went to Chicago, I went to New York, everyone kind of had their headphones in, what was super tunnel vision trying to get through the city, which I get because there's a lot of people, a lot of distractions. But I kind of got a dickier vibe, to say the least, for lack of a better word, from other cities, big cities like that, which I don't really get in Detroit as much. The first pro of the city is definitely the people. Everyone's really cool for the most part. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about the people. So pro number 2, which most of people wouldn't expect, is the scenery. There's actually an island between Canada and Detroit where you can see the skyline of both Windsor and Detroit. It's called Belle Isle. Amazing scenery, some of the best scenery I'd say in the United States as far as skylines go. There's some other parks near the Ambassador Bridge on the other side of the city where you can see the skyline of Detroit. Also really nice to see the water from there and see the Detroit River. So a lot of people wouldn't expect that there's good scenery here, but I'd say all along the riverfront of Detroit is really nice to look at, and if you're into jogging or biking or whatever, it's really nice to just go there and get your jog in and see all different types of things. The second pro is the scenery. So the third pro of living in Detroit is that it is close to Canada. I had recently gone to Toronto a couple of years back, and the drive up there was only about 4 or 5 hours, which was pretty surprising. Detroit is, as most of you know, right across the river from Windsor, so however long it takes to get through the border patrol and all that, about 30 minutes to get over there. Yeah, it's close to Canada. If you're into like traveling to other cities to party or whatever, Windsor's right there. If you want to gamble in Windsor, it's right there. I don't really like Windsor, to be honest. I don't think it's too great of a city. I think Detroit's a lot more fun to hang out in, if you ask me. But yeah, I guess that's a pro for a lot of people and a lot of business people that are looking to do business from Canada, or if you live in Canada and you want to work in Detroit, that sort of thing. There's a lot of opportunity with that. So that's a third pro of living in Detroit. So pro number 4 is that there's not too many people. The reason I like this is because when you go to cities like Chicago and stuff like that, it's really hard to stand out and make a name for yourself, I'd say. But in this city, it seems to me like a person from one side of the city wouldn't know a person from the other side, and everyone kind of knows each other. And it's not hard to stand out in this city because everyone has a sort of Midwestern vibe. So if you really want to make a name for yourself, I think there's a lot more opportunity to do that in this city than cities, say, like Chicago and New York, things like that, because it's once you start going that route, it's really easy to put yourself in the spotlight because there's just not that many people in this city. Another pro about that is that there's not much like traffic and stuff. There's not too much congestion just because there's not that much population around the city. I know that can be a huge headache in other cities like New York and LA, just dealing with too many people all the time. I know a lot of people aren't into that. But pro number 5 is legalized marijuana. I don't smoke myself, but for this city, I'd say it's a really attractive city to the younger crowd. And I know a lot of the younger millennials especially, they like to smoke weed. It is what it is. This is one of the cities where it's completely decriminalized, so you can get caught with a little bit of it and just get a ticket, which I don't really know the laws behind that, so don't quote me on that. It is decriminalized in this city. You can also get a medical marijuana prescription. I guess that's a pro for a lot of young people, a lot of millennials, anyone that's watching this video. If you smoke weed, there you go. Detroit might be your city. Pro number 6. There's a lot of lakes and nature nearby. This is the Great Lakes, you know? We have all the Great Lakes around us. There's a hell of a lot of lakes in Detroit, or around Detroit, within a very short drive. Within 30 minutes to an hour drive, you can go to any lake. If you're into boating, there's a Lake St. Clair right up the river. You can ride your boat actually through the Detroit River in between Canada and Detroit. If you're into nature, there's a lot of trails and nature nearby. A lot of people around town like going up north in the summer and winter just to get away. Up north Michigan, the Upper Peninsula is about like 5 to 7 hours depending on where you're going, which is really cool if you're into nature and you're into trails. Like one location that I really like going to is Pictured Rocks, and that's in the Upper Peninsula. I think nature, as far as Michigan goes, people don't really look at it, but it's really nice. That's really nice trails around here, really nice nature. It's super flat, so if you're into mountains, this isn't your type of nature. But as far as lakes and just overall like outdoors goes, it's actually a really nice state to be in. So pro number 7 of living in Detroit is that we are 5 hours from Chicago and very close to a lot of major cities. If you're a business person, you're an international type of person where you need to get around a lot, or you have family in Chicago or family in Cincinnati, say, we're only 5 hours from Chicago. Surprisingly, like I said, we're only 5 hours from Toronto, maybe 10 to 12 hours from New York City, and I'd say like 7 hours from Cincinnati. We're really close to like a lot of major cities, so you can look at Detroit as one of the big hubs in between all those cities. Like I said, as far as if you're a business person or if you're in corporate and you're traveling a lot, that might be a pro for you. And if you like traveling and you like going to other cities, that's also a pro, because like I said, yeah, it's a within 10-hour drive to a lot of major cities, and yeah, that's something I like to do a lot. So I like going to Chicago with the boys. Like I said, only 5 hours to Chicago. It's pro number 7. Pro number 8 of living in Detroit, and this is kind of Michigan in general. Amazing summers. I can't stress that enough. Like, The winters in here are really long, but around 3 to 4 months in the summer are just perfect. Like the weather, it doesn't get too hot, not too dry, it's like not too humid. It's the perfect amount of sun. It's like you're not sweating when you go outside. You can do anything you want outside. Wear shorts and t-shirt, but it's like, it's that perfect temperature, like 70 to 80 the whole summer. There's not too much sun. That's to be expected in Michigan, but my number 8 pro has to be amazing summers, because I'd say for the Midwest, like the summers here are just phenomenal. You're not gonna get that in the South. It's gonna be way too hot, especially in states like Texas, Georgia, Florida, even California can get really hot in the summer. I'd say as far as the summer goes, this is one of the best cities to be in the nation for sure. Pro number 9. Again, this might apply to a lot of younger people, but older people too, this is a really artistic city. It is the Motor City, but it's also the techno city. We invented techno. There's a lot of hipsters here, so a lot of millennials can relate to that, and they're into that type of scene. People love music in this city. I know a lot of rich music has come from this city. There's a jazz festival every year. There's the movement, which used to be Techno Fest, every year. If you're into techno, into house music, that takes place down near the riverfront in Hart Plaza. If you're also into electronic music, a few hours up north, there's Electric Forest every year. It's a music festival. So as far as music goes and art, this is a really good city for that. If you're an art student or you're into painting or something like that, we have one of the best schools in the city. It's the College for Creative Studies, right up the street in Midtown Detroit, right next to Wayne State. So I'd say that's one of the pros. One of the big pros about this city is super artistic. Similar to Toronto, I'd say. Sort of similar. I guess you could relate it to that. Now for the last pro of the list, pro number 10, is that this city is expanding every year. What I mean by that is literally people are flocking to this city because it's ripe for opportunity. There's a lot of real estate to be had, a lot of abandoned buildings, so people that are into construction, big construction companies are looking at this city to build. I think as far as a resident and living in this city, the more construction you see every year, like every year it gets better here. And I think that's a fun thing to see. If you move here one year, by the time next summer happens, you'll see new buildings, new construction all around the city. They just put up a new arena, Little Caesars Arena, right down the street, right next to the Fox Theater. That's something to do if you're into hockey, into musical events and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the city just overall expanding since 2013 when it went bankrupt. It's just every single year it gets better and better, which is just awesome to see, and I think it's a fun part of living here for sure. That's the 10 pros of living in Detroit, and that leads me into the next section of the video, 10 cons of living in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm sure a lot of you were excited for this part because this part was a little bit easier to write, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm sadistic, I don't know. Con number 1 is taxes and insurance. If you're living in the city of Detroit, there's a Detroit city tax, income tax. I think it's around 4% for if you're living in the city, and if you live in the suburbs outside of the city and work in the city, you're paying about 2% on top of the normal state income taxes just for being in Detroit, which I know it's not a lot, but it can, if you're making, 50 to 100 grand, that's 2 to 4 grand a year just living in Detroit taxed. The insurance in Detroit for car insurance, it's instantly going to go up because most of the people in this city, or a lot of the drivers in this city, don't actually have insurance, and it's a no-fault state. The insurance companies want to make sure that they have the money to cover you when you get in an accident or whatever, and the chances of you getting in an accident with someone that doesn't have insurance or can't afford to pay for it is a little bit higher. So for that, the insurance rates are pretty much like, for me, they almost doubled living in the city versus living in the suburb outside of the city, which is definitely something to consider. For those of you that have a good driving record and it's like you already have pretty low rates as it is, it might not be that big of an issue, but it is something to consider for sure. So con number 2 is this place is horrible for being a builder or trying to renovate a house. So for those of you that are looking to buy a house and maybe buy a fixer-upper in this city, and because there's a lot of old houses that are cheap and renovatable, it may seem like it's a good idea to just buy one of those and put some renovations into it, but one thing that's unexpected in this city is there's a lot of unions, and you have to pull a lot of licenses just to get certain renovations done. So it may seem like you can just go into a house and get a cheap one and just do renovations, but it's not as easy as it is in some other states. Like, let's say like you want to get your kitchen done, or you want to get a plumber to do something, they got to pull a permit to do this, so you got to get a special plumber that can pull permits. You can't just get any guy off the street. All these things you're going to be ending up paying an arm and a leg for, and I just don't think it's worth, as a builder or as a family that's looking to get a house to renovate, I don't think it's worth it in this city to do that, unless you are a builder yourself or you have connections in the city. I don't think it's worth doing. I think that's definitely a big con for a lot of people, because a lot of the people that may be watching this video are looking to buy a house and maybe looking to buy houses that are fixer-uppers. So I would definitely recommend against that if you were looking into that, or looking into that for your family. Con number 3 is the high crime rate, and this one's pretty obvious. Most people know that Detroit is a very high crime city, and when you come here, it doesn't seem like it's gonna affect you much, especially when the first couple months that you're living here, you don't really notice anything and everything's going pretty smoothly. But then every once in a while something will happen and it'll remind you like, wow, this really is Detroit. I say that with love, because like most people in the city are great people, and they're not they don't commit crime, but like every once in a while something will happen. Like you'll hear gunshots down the street, someone will break into your car, little things like that. I guess they happen in any big city, but there is a lot of crime here, and that can't be avoided for sure. I think it's something that you guys should definitely take note of if you're thinking of moving to this city. Definitely, I'd recommend trying to find a place to live with a secure place to park your car. Just a lot of security features in the house, things like that are gonna help with the peace of mind and just keeping your things safe in the city. If you're a person with more money, or like you have more valuable things, or you have kids, I definitely probably wouldn't recommend living in this city. And if you're gonna move to Detroit or Detroit Metro, I'd move to one of the suburbs outside of the city. That's definitely gonna be the better move, especially if you have a family. Con number 4, it's really dirty and the roads are horrible. As far as the dirt goes, it's starting to get a lot cleaner. Like I said, the city went bankrupt in 2013, so ever since then, it's kind of been like a clean up Detroit type thing. When you're going like down the street, you don't really see it, especially in the nicer parts of the city, but as soon as you go one block down, you see like, dirt on the corner, there's trash all over the place, abandoned houses everywhere, random like debris like you wouldn't even expect. Dirty as in like they don't keep up like trimming their trees. Like there's random forests in the middle of the city, like just in the middle of lots that haven't been kept up. Random shacks and abandoned things like that. As far as like abandoned houses go, there's definitely a lot of those in this city. Just dirt in general, it's not the cleanest city for sure. If you're into like really high upkeep and like things like Las Vegas, like real clean, like you're not gonna find that in this city for sure. You got to get ready for abandoned houses, just dirt on the street corners, trash. But I mean, I guess you kind of find that in any big city, but that is one thing definitely to note about Detroit. As far as the roads go, everyone knows we have some of the worst roads in the country. There's a few roads, like they're redoing them as time goes. I think they're trying to get a lot of new roads put in recently, but for the most part, the roads around Detroit are just horrible. Like even the new ones, if there's something that happens and they gotta repair it, like they'll just do a half-ass job. No offense to any of you construction workers out there, but they'll just do like a botched job. And as far as your car goes, you're gonna be paying a lot more on repairs just for random things like hitting potholes, rust, of course, but that's for any snowy state. Yeah, the roads are horrible. There's not too much to say about that. There was, I think Amazon actually considered coming to Detroit, and one of their big reasons that they didn't move their warehouse to Detroit was because of the roads. And I can see why, because they definitely are shit and they're ass to drive on. There's just no two ways around it. The con number 5 is the weather. Now, obviously it is cold as shit in Detroit. There's just no two ways around that. The Midwest, all around the Midwest, it's gonna be cold as hell. I hate to use that as a point because you kind of already know that when you're trying to move to the Midwest. One of my coworkers once told me it's not bad weather, it's just bad clothing. So what she meant by that was like if you had enough layers and you're wearing enough layers, you're not gonna really feel the cold weather. So just dress accordingly when you're coming here. But if you're the type of person that doesn't want to wear a lot of layers all the time and doesn't want to put on 3 different jackets just to go outside in -degree weather, like this is not the city for you. It's really windy within the city, like downtown and midtown, because of the river. So if you're not into cold, this is definitely not the city for you. Another piece that I don't like about the weather is I think most of the year, I heard something like over 200 days of the year are cloudy. So if you're into like sun and getting sunshine all the time, like this definitely is not the state for you. If you're like a Californian or you're into Texas weather or Florida, definitely don't come to Detroit. You got to be ready for that. It's the Midwest. It's cold, it's windy, it's gloomy all the time. And if you don't mind that and you can get around that, then I don't even think this is a con for you. But I just have to put this on the list because that definitely is something that, like, even if you're strong-headed, it can get to you sometimes. So yeah, the bad weather is con number 5. And that leads me into con number 6 is there's no mountains. Everything is very flat in the state. When I first moved to Detroit when I was a kid, I was thinking, oh, well, it's gonna be cold and there's gonna be a lot of snow. Maybe I can go snowboarding or skiing all the time. But there's literally no mountains. You won't find any good ski resorts. There's a few outside of the city. They all suck ass. I'm just gonna be honest. You get maybe 60 seconds down the slope and then you gotta go back up on the lift. It's just your random ski resort. As far as skiing goes, you're not gonna find that here, and that's why it's not real. That's why I don't really see a point to the snow in the winter, because like for me, I like snow for snowboarding. That's just what I like to do. And I figured, you know, in Michigan, if there's gonna be a lot of snow, maybe I can go snowboarding. But the entire state is just so flat, and as far as skiing and mountains go, you're not gonna find that here. Con number 8. A lot of Detroit is very hood, and like I said, no offense in this video. I got a lot of friends that live in the hood. I don't live in the hood because I don't want to deal with crime. It is what it is. Anyone that lives in the hood knows what I'm talking about. You got petty crimes happening all the time, people breaking into cars. There's a good strip of like right in Midtown around Wayne State. Like there's like 1 or 2 streets that go up along Woodward that are really nice, and they're really like brand new. Everything's upkept. Not too much crime, a lot of police rolling around. But you go 1 or 2 blocks down the street and it's straight hood. It's straight abandoned houses, like trap houses, you already know. Most of the city is like, a lot of the real estate in the city is owned by Detroit, so that kind of means a lot of abandoned houses and trap houses. And anywhere outside of like, I'd say along like somewhere along like 8 Mile and like Midtown and downtown is pretty much hood, and like there's just no two ways around it. and there's going to be a lot of crime in those areas. So when I say pros and cons of Detroit, a lot of what I'm talking about is downtown Detroit and midtown Detroit. Obviously, if you're looking for a low income area and you're looking to live in the hood, you know what you're getting with that. If you've already lived in the hood, you know what I'm talking about. It is what it is. You're gonna get a lot of crime, you're gonna have shitty schools. That comes with living in a low income area anywhere across the United States. As far as living downtown and midtown, if you're someone that has a lot of income and you're looking to live in a more expensive spot, just know that like right up the street it's the hood. There's no two ways around it. I don't mean to offend anyone when I say that, but when you're paying a lot of money, like $1,500 to $2,000, like for a real nice apartment, you're not gonna want to see that right up the street when you're going on a jog. That's one thing that I didn't like, especially when relating it to the prices of the city. The hood's right next door. It's Detroit. It's the Dirty D. It is what it is, man. We got a reputation for a reason, but don't let that sway your decision. Obviously, like if you know what you're doing and you mind your business, no one's gonna mess with you. There might be petty crimes. They might like break in your car or something, but that's about all you're gonna deal with as far as crime goes when you're living in a nicer area. And just be aware that the crime rate in the city is very high. That leads me into con number 8. The living expenses in this city are way overpriced for what you're getting. And what I mean by that is, as far as apartment costs go, they're like $400 or $500 above what they should be priced at, because they don't really offer much around the city. There's no convenience, there's no grocery stores around. Every grocery store around the corner is like double the price of what it should be, and it's double the price of what it is 10 minutes out in the suburb. The only real grocery store I think to shop at in Detroit is on 8 Mile in Detroit and Woodward, or it's on 8 Mile and Woodward in Detroit. It's a Meijer. That's the only place that's reasonably priced. If you're living in Midtown or downtown, there's nothing within 10 or 15 minutes as far as groceries goes, besides Whole Foods, and around here we call that whole paycheck, because you literally spend your whole paycheck when you go shop there. It's ridiculous. A little fun fact is that Detroit's actually the largest consumer of potato chips in the nation, and I think it has to do with the fact that there's literally no grocery stores like around here. There's an Aldi if you're into cheaper shopping up in Highland Park, but Highland Park is another city inside Detroit, so I can't say that's a part of Detroit. I can't include that in Detroit, but if you're not willing to drive a little bit outside of downtown or midtown, I definitely would consider the convenience factor and just the high price grocery stores within the city. The rent costs are way overpriced for what you're getting. You don't have much, like, as far as things to do, there's a decent amount of entertainment. There's some arenas. The skyline looks pretty good, like the view, but it's like, for what you're getting, you might as well go to Las Vegas or Chicago or something for that price. Like, you're not like, for a 1-bedroom, you're gonna be paying $1,000 a month just to live like in Detroit. Like, it's not that good of a deal. So at least right now, I think the prices are like a little overpriced, and that's a huge thing for a lot of people watching this video. I would definitely consider that, especially you can look at the prices around the area. If you go on Zillow.com or something like that, you'll be able to tell like the price range. But as far as what you're offered, this city is just like at every corner, including the taxes, insurance, everything you pay for is just overpriced, in my opinion, for what you're getting. And the last con of this list, con number 10, is the school systems. This goes for any of you that are trying to build a family or you have kids and you want to move to this city. I highly recommend not doing that, because we have some of the worst schools in the country in this city. I guess that's due to lack of funding. As far as like just education and putting your kid in a good environment, this definitely is not the city to do it. If you are moving to the city for corporate reasons and you're moving with your family, there are really nice cities outside of Detroit, like within 20-30 minute drive, where you can move there, and they're really nice schools. But as far as the city of Detroit goes, it's horrible schools. The school systems suck. The environment that your kid is gonna be in just sucks in general. So I'd definitely look into that if you're moving to the city and you have kids. Definitely move into a suburb outside of the city where your kid can be in a good environment. That kind of goes for a lot of major cities. It's hard to raise kids in a downtown area or like a midtown area, but especially in Detroit, the schools here are really bad. I remember when I was working at a bar within the city, I was talking to this teacher and she even told me that she wasn't paid $8,000 for her paycheck that year. I don't know how she got paid, some type of salary or something, but she said that she was even short $8,000 because there just wasn't enough funding to pay her. Now keep in mind she was a kindergarten teacher, so I guess she didn't care that much, but it's just the lack of funding in the school systems it really hurts the economy around here. That's another reason why I think things are just overpriced, because for families especially, this is just a very inconvenient city to live in if you're trying to raise kids. I guess there's not too much more to say about that, but if you got this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. If there's any of you Detroiters or people that come to Detroit that want to add something or want to leave some criticism below, please leave a nice comment. Try to make it nice. If you want to be mean, I don't give a shit. If you want to leave some criticism or something you'd like to add about the city, or something that you like that I didn't touch on, or something that you dislike, please leave it in the comments below. If you're looking to move to this city and you want me to cover anything in another video or make another video about something, please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video and you got value out of it, please like the video and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. I guess I'll try to do more content like this in the future if you guys enjoy it. Please leave a like. That really helps me get views to this video. A lot of you probably know that when you leave a like, it really helps in the algorithm and helps me get subscribers and helps me get overall viewers to this channel. So if I gave you any value at all, please consider leaving a like, tossing me a subscribe. Yeah, I guess that's about it. That was 10 pros and 10 cons of living in Detroit. And this is Michael's life cycle. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Until next time, keep it real. Peace.